A common question type in the IELTS reading test is locating information. With locating information questions, you need to read the text in order to find specific information, such as a reason, an example, or an explanation. Let's look at an example of this task now. On your test paper, you'll see a reading passage followed by the locating information questions. Let's look more closely at the questions now. Always remember to check the instructions first. In this example, the instructions tell you that the reading passage is divided into 4 parts. These parts are labelled A, B, C or D. Now look at the questions. You need to read the question and then go to the text and find the paragraph or section that contains this information. Let's try to do question 1. So, we need to find the particular species that the researcher is interested in. I think this is important, the particular species. So I guess there is a particular animal that the researcher wants to study. Let's try to remember that when we read the text. So now, let's try to find the paragraph that contains the information about the species that the professor is interested in. This is paragraph A. Now, you don't want to read this paragraph in detail, you're just trying to scan the text to try to find an animal species. No, there's nothing here about animals. We learn about the equipment and the researchers and where they're from, but we're not told about any animal species here. So, let's move on to paragraph B. Now, if we look at this paragraph, we can see that there is an animal mentioned, a giant squid. But is this the species that Professor Marshall is particularly interested in? Or is it just an example of what researchers have been able to study in the past? I'm not sure that this is the information that we're looking for. Let's keep reading to see if we can find the right answer. Let's look at paragraph C now. And we can see that there is an animal mentioned here, the seal. And we're told that the researcher is especially looking at seals that live in this environment. And if we look at the question again, we can see that this is the information that we were asked to locate. So the answer is C, because that's the section of the text where I located the information for question number 1. So that answer is correct. So let's recap what we know about the locating information question format. As the name suggests, in this task, you have to find or locate the paragraph in the text which contains the information given in the question. When you write your answer, you only need to write the letter for that paragraph. Then, write your answer on the answer sheet, being careful to write it in the correct place. And just a few more tips about this format. Firstly, the same paragraph may contain information for more than one question, so don't worry if this happens. You can choose a paragraph more than once. Second, you may not need to use all the paragraphs. Some paragraphs may not contain any answers. Third, the information that you need to answer a question will only be located in one of the paragraphs. And finally, this is a test of your ability to read a text quickly, so you'll have to skim and scan to find the information that you need. So now that I have described how to do locating information questions to you, why don't you take some time to read over this summary? I should point out that this is one way to do this task which we think is effective, but it is not the only way. After that, I'm sure you're ready to do some practice to help you build some more skills around answering these questions.